You're listening to the Wally Show podcast. You can hear the live version every weekday morning through the WayFM app or following along with us at wayfm.com/Wally.
The Wally Show podcast is brought to you by Colorado Christian University Online, where Wally teaches and where you can earn a degree online just like Betty Rock. You can learn more at ccu.edu/Wally. This podcast is also brought to you by United Faith Mortgage. Let their direct lender advantage save you time and money.
Uplifting WayFM.
News can be a little heavy, so we like to do news-ish. Here's Betty.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Dating in this day and time comes with its own unique set of problems. Nowadays, a typical love story usually involves two people meeting on a dating app. But dating online isn't as simple as sliding right or sliding left. I think it's right.
It's been a while since Betty's dated online. She's
I forget. Swiping.
Yeah, not sliding.
Swiping.
You slide into DMs.
This is
why
I don't do it.
Yeah.
This is why I don't do it. There's a good chance that you'll run across the dating profile of someone you know, like an ex, your boss, or even your dentist. And you can imagine this creates an awkward situation, especially when the app matches the two of you together.
Or your dad.
Oh, you just know too much about that person and you're like, there's no way we will ever be together.
Yeah.
Well, one dating app is doing their best to make sure this doesn't happen by offering its customers the ability to block a profile, meaning you won't be matched with that person and vice versa.
That makes sense.
Yeah. They're also making it easier for users to report bad behavior from other users, which includes inappropriate language and harassment, just to name a few. But like I said, if you spend a good amount of time on a dating app, your chances are really good of coming across some real creepers because many of them feel more confident behind a computer screen than they do in person, and they would say things behind a computer screen that they wouldn't in person.
I mean, it is kind of like things modernize and, romance is different now than it was in the 50s. And so technology being part of it, it's like, I think you kind of have to accept that, but you've got to figure out how to navigate it safely, one, and two, successfully.
Right. And like you said, everything online, it's added some further problems. So like I said, with you coming across creepers, that might be why stalking has become more of an accepted behavior with single millennials and Gen Zers. So I found this article that claims social media and online dating has made it easier to stalk someone online, getting all the info you need about a person before even meeting them.
I know my daughter is really good at stalking, like the online part of it. Like she can find stuff about people. I remember we had interviewed Gavin for this job, and I could not for the life of me remember his last name. And I'm like, he's this redheaded kid. He's from New Mexico, and she's just sitting there. She's like, "Is it this guy? How did you do that?" I'm like, "That's the kid."
The Gen Z in her.
That's true.
But it's sad that's like, I guess if it's online.
Exactly.
And people deep diving into learning about you, that's just going to happen.
Like if you post anything online, you have to know that it's going to be free for all for anyone to find out. Right, exactly. Now, like this article does claim that stalking is expected from singles for singles as long as it's online. But when it comes to in person, that's a problem still.
Yeah. That was, and will always be creepy.
Yes.
Don't do it. So there you go. Hopefully that can help you navigate some of the dating world if you are back in it or newly in it.
We're just going to do a little word association.
You think you're hot because you know words.
Uplifting WayFM. This is the Wally Show. We're going to play a little game here. You have a chance to win a prize, which is always fun. But if you know the lyrics to different songs that we play, if you're that person that just dives into them and they speak to your heart, and like, oh, I love this song because of these lyrics, this will really help you out. Like, you could crush this game.
Like, if you've ever watched an episode of Name That Tune, and you're like, I could win that for sure, this is your kind of game.
It's a lyrical version of that, okay? The way it works is you have 25 points in your bank, so you start off with that. Each time I read one word of a lyric of a song, you lose a point until you can guess it. So you got to get 2 songs out of 3, and you get 25 points to do it in. We'll give you an example real quick. Betty Rock, you be my contestant here.
Okay.
Here we go. Move. The. Unmovable. Break. The.
Oh.
She's in there. Gavin has it.
Get it.
CeCe Winans.
Okay.
Nice.
Believe for it.
Yes! It's it's harder than it, like if I had been like, move the unmovable.
Yeah,
like,
I had
you
to
had
like
it
sing it
instantly.
in my head, and then it makes sense.
That's a good tip. That's a
Yeah.
good tip. So as I'm giving you the lyrics, sing them in your head and see how it works out. You only used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of your 25.
Hey.
You would have 20 words to get your next one for the win. That's how it works. If you love the music on Way FM and you want to play a little wordsmith for a prize right now, 855-33 Way FM. Remember that tip from Betty? Like, take the lyrics and maybe try to sing them. It'll work out for you. 855-33 Way FM. Looking for a contestant now.
We're just gonna do a little word association.
You think you're hot because you know words.
Uplifting Way FM, this is the Wally Show. Sabrina, welcome to the Wordsmith game. Now, do you listen to Way FM on the regular?
Yes.
Okay, and you think you know the songs that we play lyrically?
Yes, I do.
Well, the way it works, Sabrina, is you have 25 points already in your bank. Each of those points represents one lyric of a song. As I read them, it will subtract them from your bank. When you think you know it, you shout it out, and you have 25 lyrics to basically get 2 songs, okay? So here we go. This is song number 1. It may be midnight or midday.
Oh, okay.
Do you think you know it?
He's never early, never late. He'll stand by when he's help is on the way.
You know it. You got it. Nicely done. Good job.
All right.
How many lyrics did she use up?
She only used 6.
That is fantastic. That means you have 19 points to go to get one more song. Now,
Okay.
if you're not feeling it, you can pass to the next song, okay? But the words used will count against you. So here we go. Do you want another Christian song, or do you want like an 80s rock song?
Christian.
Okay. I would have gone 80s rock because I think it would have been easier. Here we go. And when the world gets complicated, we're gonna keep on
Celebrating.
Yes, okay. You only have like a word or 2 left. What is it? What is it? And when the world gets complicated, we're gonna
keep
on
celebrating because you know.
Yeah. Because you know what?
Oh my gosh.
Because you know what? It's a tenet of our faith. It's something we all believe and look forward to and hope for. Because you know. Ha-na-na, ha-na-na.
How many words do I have left?
You have none left. We've used them all and then some.
Oh man. When the world is complicated. Jesus is coming back.
Jesus is coming back! She got it! Don't know how you did that. You used all 25 of your words and maybe 1 or 2 extras. But somehow you figured it out. And Sabrina, you're a winner today on Wordsmith.
Yay!
Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show. We want to be your buddy, help you out with things in life, you know, like best friends would do. And that's why we do the scoop. Whenever we come across something that's like, oh, this is beneficial, this could help you out, make your life a little better, we like to share it with you. And Betty Rock is the scoopiest of the scoopers. She's always looking for things to make her life easier, so why not yours? What do you got?
Well, I don't tend to have this problem, but I am close to people that do. So if you have trouble falling asleep at night, maybe you find yourself worrying about things.
Every night.
Please, my wife. I sleep like a baby because I don't have a lot of sin in my life. So I go right to sleep. My wife, up all night. I know. Confer your own reference
We've
there.
been praying.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, the scoop is you need to start this tactic called savoring. Okay, so the goal is to recreate the positive emotional state of an experience in your mind. Okay, so think about a memory, the happiest memory you have. Maybe it's in your childhood, maybe it wasn't that long ago. And I need you to put yourself there, like actually put yourself there. What this is going to do is your brain, the side that causes the nervous system to act up, it will calm down, help you to de-stress, and get you in a calm state, okay? So here's a couple of tips. first pick out your happy memory beforehand.
Okay.
Before
Because then if you got to try to figure it out,
Exactly.
then that's just more brain going.
Go ahead and be thinking about what that memory is going to be for you. Practice it during the day and be patient because it might be hard at first, but you need to really think about all of the characteristics of that memory so that when you lie down in bed tonight, you can put yourself there a lot easier. Now, if you still find yourself worrying about worrying, schedule 15 minutes in your day to worry. Once that 15 minutes is up, you're done with
Put it to bed.
And now it can't be reserved for
that's
bedtime.
funny.
Okay? So because you've already gotten it out of the way. So you need to try savoring.
It's interesting. I didn't even know that this was a thing, but I did a version of this the other night because we have to get up so early. And there are nights when I go to bed and I worry, okay, I'm not going to be able to sleep. And then it gets worse.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did this the other night. I was like, okay, I was going to bed. I'm like, ooh, am I going to sleep tonight? And I started thinking about something that made me really happy, but it was just from earlier in the day. I had this big project and I knocked it out and it came out perfect. And I just sat there relishing in the craftsmanship of what I had created.
Sounds
and
like
how perfect it
savoring.
was. I know. And I'm sitting there thinking about it and I'm like, man, that joint was perfect. And those hinges worked splendidly. And before I knew it, I was asleep. Next thing I know, it's 4 a.m. in the morning. I'm waking up for work.
See?
It was great.
Exactly. So now if you find yourself having a difficult time going to sleep, put yourself in a happy place.
Well, there you go. Hopefully that'll help you out tonight if you have trouble sleeping. Thank you, Lady Rock. That's your scoop for the day.
And now for some good news.
Uplifting Way FM. This year's The Wally Show. A little good news. Giddy up 3 rapid fire good news stories coming at you because the regular news is a bit of a bummer. I love seeing people win at something and just get so excited. There was that video floating around of that kid from North Dakota. He's a 7th grader, and at his school, high school, he got to do a layup, a foul shot, a 3-point shot, and a half-court shot.
Nice.
If he got all of those in, he won $10,000. The odds of getting all of those in, I mean, you could have missed the layup right out of the gate. This kid drains all of them. He hits the half-court shot at the end. Place goes nuts. Everyone runs down on there. They asked him. He's like, I didn't think it was going in. He didn't even have faith in himself, but it went in. And he said he's saving that $10,000 for college.
Hopefully.
With his luck, I'd go to Vegas. You're on a roll, JJ. Gavin, good news, giddy up, go.
Firefighters in Pennsylvania, they helped a 2-year-old girl for doing something a kid just does. She got a cake pan stuck over her head.
I can see that happening to me as a kid.
They had to cut it off with tin snips, and her mom found the whole thing hilarious.
Yeah.
She's got a great story. The kid probably won't ever remember, but the mom will never forget.
I got my head stuck between banisters as a kid.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and you
How many
can't-
times?
Multiple. You think you'd learn. Every time I thought, oh, this time's going to be different. No,
Your head
it never
just got
was.
bigger.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Lady Rock, what do you got? Good news, giddy up, go.
A husband in Dallas felt bad for his wife who was big pregnant and she wanted to sleep on her belly, but of course that's impossible.
I get that. Like,
Yeah.
certain ways you want to sleep, and when you can't, your body's like tense. Like, I
Yes.
just need to roll over.
Exactly. So what he did was he bought a foam mattress. He cut a hole out in the middle where her belly would go. And it's working perfectly for them. She loves it. He posted about it on social media.
So great.
And people are like, you need to go to Shark Tank
Yeah.
and try and sell this sucker.
That's a great idea.
He's already accepting pre-orders on eBay.
Oh, nice.
Women will do anything to feel better during pregnancy because, as I've been told, it's not the most comfortable thing. Yeah, my wife told me that a lot. I had to hear it a lot during her
Try
pregnancy.
strapping a watermelon
Yeah.
to your stomach.
Yeah.
That's miserable.
I feel like I already have that. All right, that's going to do it for your good news. Giddy up.
Wally fancies himself a bit of an amateur first responder.
What can I say? I like to help.
But you're not qualified. I would trust you more if you went to Colorado Christian University. They have degrees for working professionals who want to make a difference in this world.
You know what, Rock? You're right. Maybe I should look into their campus event and organizational safety program. It's a fully online degree designed to equip you with cutting-edge but practical, timely skills to further your criminal justice career and help you protect the innocent people at places like churches and schools.
Plus, the Master of Science in Criminal Justice program is 36 credit hours, and it can be completed in as little as 15 months with full-time study.
So start a degree in 2023 so you can do more in 2024. CCU also has a generous policy for transferring credits. In fact, you can even get a scholarship just for transferring credits.
Criminal justice can be an exciting but challenging career, and we need people who are not only professionals but also believers. That's why Colorado Christian University makes sure all of their courses integrate a biblical worldview.
Find out more at ccu.edu. Colorado Christian University is a nonprofit impact partner committed to cultivating the mind without compromising the heart.
Uplifting Way FM.
Here's what's going on today.
So you've probably seen some of the devastating pictures coming out of Turkey, or the video following that 7.8 magnitude earthquake, and thousands of people have been killed. The death toll continues to rise as workers and responders from all over the world are converging there and combing through the wreckage looking for survivors. They lost 6,000 buildings that have been either damaged or destroyed.
Wow.
I mean, when you think about it, like, your whole downtown just gone, you know?
Yeah.
And again, like, we forget about the human toll of this because we see pictures and that's okay, and then we go about our day. And living through that kind of environment is unbelievably tough. Rescue workers have been working in the cold and the wet, and they're also facing aftershocks. They've had aftershocks that were in the 7s of magnitude and 5s. I mean, like, those are full-blown earthquakes.
Yeah, that's scary.
You know, not aftershocks. And so, like, you see these stories, and it's real easy to be, you know, heavy with it. But I love when you see any sort of little miracle that comes out of these, and miracle rescues, and it gives you hope, you know, because that's, again, once you lose hope, things spiral quickly. And so, like, that's why each of these rescues, it might be one person, but man, it gives them hope to keep going. Let's dig a little bit farther. Let's go a little bit deeper today, you know. And so when you see the buildings like collapse on themselves, you wonder how anybody survives that. And they are pulling people from the rubble, which the videos are exhilarating, you know. Among the survivors, one entire family was pulled from this building, and so they got everybody out.
Wow.
Like, unbelievable. There was a baby girl who had been just born in the earthquake.
I saw this, and that she still had the umbilical cord. Like, she was brand new.
Exactly. Sadly, mom didn't make it, but they saved this child. You know, there was a professional soccer player who was rescued as well. And so there's like 8,000 people that have been rescued. So amidst all the devastation, it's good to see, okay, people are being saved, you know, and being rescued and stuff. But it's slow, you know, and it's something that, you know, you wish it was more, but it just takes time. And I'm always wondering, like, how, when they decide to go from rescue to recovery, you know, and like, who's that guy that has to make that call? That'd be so hard because you want to keep hope.
That.
Oh, no way. You know, it's good, though, when you see things like this to know that there are ministries that are making a difference. Convoy of Hope, instantly, we work with them. They instantly got involved, and they're on the ground helping people in Turkey, giving them the things that they need. And if you look at this stuff and you feel helpless, you're like, I wish I could do something. Well, you can. You support the people that are doing the work there. And Convoy of Hope is a great organization. It's a great ministry. If you want to check it out and throw a couple bucks that way to do something good today, it's convoyofhope.org. Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show. And, you know, life is hard for believers, non-believers. There's just difficulties that you're going to face. God never promised that we're going to have an easy life. You know, he said there is going to be trouble in this world, but I have overcome this world. And so the way you walk through something with faith sometimes can look differently than the way other people walk through it. And I recently learned that a really good friend of mine has cancer, and when they found it, it was already stage 4. And the prognosis is not good, you know. And so I was kind of sitting with him and talking to him, and I love their optimism because they're just like, it just doesn't feel right. Like, this is not going to be our story, you know. And they're like, we love the doctors and it's great, but we believe in something higher than even that, you know. And so they're living on that next level of faith and spending time with him, you know, and him talking about this and kind of processing it and walking through it. And he was like, you know what, man? He goes, I have a different way of looking at all this. And he's like, I just want And I heard his voice. It's like, I just want God to be glorified. And when you can live on that level, you're like, wow, that's amazing. Because, he's like, even more than looking forward to walking my daughter down the aisle, I want this to matter for people and it to make a difference. And like, wow, that's like selfless and beautiful. And I know they have good days and they have bad days. And there are days where, they're all in this. And then there are days where you're angry, and stuff. And so it was cool to see him talk about how it's deepened his faith, and people coming out of the woodwork to pray for him and his family have been staggering and humbling. And, there was one thing, though, that he shared with me that I thought was like super profound, and it might help you or somebody as you face something like this. They said they believe in the doctors. Like, it's not like they're like going, I'm not going to do any medicine. It's only this. It's like God gave us medicine for a reason. And so they're taking all of that under advisement. They're just not letting the doctor's words be the narrative that guides their life, And so if you do that, he said, if you just lean into that, the prognosis is so bad, it's going to steal your joy and rob you of hope, And he said, so their perspective is to take the bad news that the doctors give them and flip it around and view it as, all right, well, now we know exactly what to pray for. And I'm like, oh, that's so good. Because you get this bad news and you're like, this could be devastating. But then you go, all right, God, we know exactly where things are. I know how to pray, And then sharing that with us, it was like cool because it's like, okay, good. I know how to pray for you, And I just thought that was like such a cool perspective that I had never really thought of before, and just kind of landed with me, And I obviously I want healing for him, That's my prayer, but then also peace and comfort and joy as they go through this time and stuff too. So I'm curious if you've ever learned something from somebody who was facing something super hard like this, and they had like some wisdom or insight. Sometimes kids are going through things where they're sick and they have the best insight. You're like, wow.
That's very true, because sometimes when we face those difficult issues, it changes our perspective on things. It helps us see what's important and what isn't. And we could definitely learn from those people.
Oh, absolutely. And so that's why I'm curious. Like, this was something I had never heard before, and it resonated with me. Has that ever happened to you, where you're talking to someone that's really facing something really hard and they shared something with you that you're like, it made you pause and like, that's deep, that's profound, that's going to change me, 855-33 WAY-FM is the number. Love having you on the show. Love serious stuff like this too. We like goofing around a lot, but this is the kind of stuff that I love because it really matters. It makes a difference. So 855-33 WAY-FM. We'll take yours now. What is something that you've learned from somebody facing something hard?
My little boy was diagnosed with leukemia when he was 4 years old. And unfortunately, he did not survive his fight. He passed when he was 7. But when he was 5 years old, we were sitting in the cancer clinic with all these kids who had limbs missing, and they had nose tubes, and they had cords, and they had all kinds of infirmities. And we're sitting in the clinic waiting for his treatment. And I'm so, just kind of out of it because I'm so in shock and so sad. And he's sitting with me, and he looks over at me, and he says, do you know what I like? And I'm thinking, 5-year-old little boy, he's going to say, I like candy,
right,
or I like such and such toys. He looked at me and said, I like a lot of things, but I like God the best.
Wow. Like, as a mom, knowing what he's facing, that had to just make you feel great and like give you some comfort and peace too.
Absolutely. I felt like that was proof right there to me that God was dealing with him on a level that I could not see. That God was with him, and God was comforting him, and God was taking care of him through this whole thing.
Tammy, how has the words that your son said, how has that affected your faith walk?
Oh, it has affected me profoundly, and I can't tell you the number of people at our church that watched his journey and say over and over, he changed my life. And that has been proof to me that God is there in the most real way to our kids, to ourselves. God is there. God is with us. and He is counseling, and He is comforting, and He is getting us through.
Has that ever happened to you, Dara?
It has happened to me. Wally, I had lost a friend to cancer, I think 3 weeks ago now, and she was 38 years old with 2 sweet baby girls, and her faith through the journey was incredible. She started a big social media following. Every time she would go to MD Anderson for treatment, she would do a post about God's goodness through whatever they were going through. And she found out the week of Christmas that there was nothing left to do as far as treatment was concerned. So she went home and spent Christmas with her family. But she wrote a post on Christmas night telling everybody, who's been following her story, what was happening. The very last thing she said was, please get to know Jesus.
Yeah.
And it has become this huge thing. People have made sweatshirts. They've put magnets on their car. I've seen someone got a tattoo.
Oh, wow.
And it's just so cool that, her story hasn't ended, where she's still a testimony.
It is interesting the perspective you have when you're facing life and death. Like this friend of mine who kind of started this whole conversation, and he was like, Wally, I just got to tell you, he's like, I'm praying that God will be glorified. Even if it's not good for me, I just want God to be glorified. And he's like, maybe I couldn't have said that 5 years ago, And he's like, but I'm in this place where this is truly my heart's desire, and I'll take what comes. And it's that kind of deep faith that sometimes life and death brings about, but it is a reminder to all of us that, man, if we even lived with a quarter of that faith, how different our lives would look and the people around us would be affected if we chose to be that serious about it all the time.
That's right. I feel like she's challenged me. I want to make her proud.
I love it. Well, Dara, thank you for taking the time to share your story and her story with us today.
Thanks.
I'll never forget taking my first compassion trip, and we went to Ghana, Africa. When we got there to the site, there was this little girl. She was 6 years old. I later found out her name was Vivian, and she would not let go of my hand. She followed me everywhere I went on that site. And later I got to meet her family. I met her mother and her siblings, and they all lived in this little mud hut. I mean, it wasn't big at all. And when I looked at Vivian, she had the biggest smile on her face, and she was just happy to be there, just happy to be with us. And it made such an impact in my life that I wanted to sponsor her right then and there. Because of my sponsorship for Vivian through Compassion, I'm able to write letters back and forth with her. I'm now getting updated photos, and now I think she's even taller than me, which is crazy to think. But I'm also able to see how my sponsorship is providing the food, clean water, and other support that she needs and her family needs to live the best life possible. And I can only imagine now with the pandemic, war, and weather disasters, there are so many other families like Vivian's who are dealing with hunger. So maybe you want to make an impact and sponsor your own Vivian. Just click the Compassion banner when you go to wayfm.com.
TMI, my friends. Also known as today's Music Insider with Gavin.
The 2023 Grammy Awards recently took place, and there's been a lot of talk within Christian and church circles about Sam Smith's performance at the Grammys, where he's wearing this red satanic-looking outfit, and obviously, our community probably wasn't going to react crazy positive to that. But I think Darren from the band We Are Messengers probably had the best response to the whole situation.
Are we really gonna let Sam Smith running around in red latex and high heels with some second-rate latex Dollar General Satan costume on gonna destroy our lives today? Believer, Christian, take heart. Jesus has overcome the world, and all the devil has is some mild funny costumes to play with. But today, calm yourselves. Go about the ordinary business of the kingdom of God. Love, love your neighbors, love Sam Smith, support your Christian artists, keep streaming music. Let's bring this message of Jesus to the whole world.
That's so good. I love how dismissive that is. Yeah. A second-rate dollar store general like latex costume. But I think the really cool thing, because there are people, I've been seeing people, wanting to be upset and boycott and drop people and cancel culture and all this other stuff from believers. But it's like, I just love that he's like, pray for everybody and pray for Sam Smith. The guy's lost, man. The guy's lost as you can be. And he's doing things like this, and it's like, yeah, instead of getting mad at him, like pray for him because he's a mess.
I feel like that was like the proper Jesus response to most situations, is that he didn't go in and cancel sinners. He was a friend of sinners. He sat with them, had meals with them. And Darren is explaining, like, we don't have to go out and cheer on Sam Smith on stage, but we don't have to hate him for it. We have to love him because that's the only way we're going to change this world.
That was such a great response to how we should handle it. I have the opposite in an email of somebody that emailed me yesterday, and I will share with you their email about this subject and my response to them in like 10 minutes. And yeah, I got a little worked up, a little bit, but not too bad. It's a mini rant.
Was this before or after you watched Darren's video?
Oh, it was before. I wish I'd seen it first, but yeah. So anyway, we'll do that in 10 here on The Wally Show.
Uplifting Way FM.
Wonder if Wally will have an opinion on this.
Wally, I respect you, but word to the wise, never trust a short man named Wally.
It's The Wally Show.
So following what a lot of people call the satanic performance from Sam Smith at the Grammys, a lot of people in the Christian circles were upset and boycotts and, a lot of people upset. Darren from We Are Messengers, I think, had the best take on how to respond to this.
Are we really gonna let Sam Smith running around in red latex and high heels with some second-rate latex Dollar General Satan costume on gonna destroy our lives today? Believer, Christian, take heart. Jesus has overcome the world, and all the devil has is some old funny costumes to play with. But today, calm yourselves. Go about the ordinary business of the kingdom of God. Love your neighbors. Love Sam Smith. Support your Christian artists.
Love it. Love Sam Smith, too. And that's so important in this. Because I got an email the other day after this happened. It said, hey, do you know if For King and Country and Toby Mac actually stayed at the Grammys when Sam Smith did his satanic show on stage? If not, shame on them. They've lost fans if they didn't. Signed, a disappointed fan. Here's what I'm just baffled by. Like, doesn't even know if they stayed or not. But it's like, I'm disappointed. Like, he's already, like, here's my response. Okay, so I was going on this one. I'm kind of like Jesus called the Pharisees a brood of vipers. He loved the sinner, but the religious people drove him nuts. And I was like, look, man, I'm going to be honest with you. First of all, I'm kind of disappointed in your email. You already have a penalty phase for Toby and for King and Country, not knowing what they did or did not do. This is why people don't like believers. The Bible says, let our rebukes be seasoned with salt. It's okay to stand for what you believe, but you don't have to do it in a way that makes people hate you. Like it or not, we live in the world that does not line up with the things of our faith. Even if they stayed, I don't think that's a problem because they are in the world but not of it. They can be there and not like what he did. We're at work every day with people that don't believe like we believe. You don't go home from work. No, you stay in it. You're involved in it. You can't still love people. You can still love people you don't have anything in common with. Mark Hall from Casting Crowns said it best when he said, we can't blame lost people for doing lost stuff. Our job is to love people to come to faith. And I told him, I said, I've seen people love people to faith, but I've never seen anyone protest anyone to faith. So I'm sure you're not happy with me and my response. I'm sure, I hope that you don't jump to canceling me or thinking I'm a lukewarm Christian and should be spewed from God's mouth because I don't agree with you on this. But I felt I would at least kindly tell you what I think. If we isolate ourselves from the world, we lose influence over people that God has called us to love. And so there's my response to that.
It was very calm.
Yes.
And I think you did a really good job.
Thank you.
I too, with that original email, I'm kind of perturbed by it because they ask a question and before they can even get an answer,
right,
they've already canceled them.
Exactly.
And so before saying a disappointed listener, like at least get the facts first and then make your decision.
Yeah, but we don't do that. We rush to cancel and all in the name of Jesus. We're protecting Jesus. Like Darren said, the devil's got a knockoff Dollar General latex costume. That's what you brought to the table today. We brought love and we brought the power of God, and we have the ability to actually change people for the better with the gospel and with the truth if we stay involved and don't isolate ourselves. So there you go. Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show, and this is our Super Bowl wing off, okay? What I have done is I have charged each of the members of the show to create a signature sauce for some wings. And Pastor Chad, who is a chef amateur chef, but loves cooking, loves wings, is going to be our total judge. Your word is final, okay?
Okay.
Now, with that said, we're going to start with young Gavin's wing first. Now, Gavin, can you hand these out? Because I want to try them, too.
Okay, yes. Let me...
So hand them out to everybody.
Okay.
So, Chad, you are the first person.
Do you want a drum or a flat?
I want a flat.
You got a flat? Okay, everyone's got one?
All right, now, it's like a wing sauce like I've never seen before. It's kind of creamy. And what color is it? White?
Peach.
Like tan?
Okay. All right. Now
it doesn't smell bad.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Pastor Chad is smelling it before he eats a true wing sommelier.
Can we all eat it together?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
All right, Pastor Chad, let's go. Get in there. Wing number 1.
Oh, please be good.
It's hot. It's got some spice.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a baby.
It is spicy.
Yeah, I'm kind of a baby. I know. It's got a kick after. Do you like it?
It's actually really good. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm trying to figure out the flavor of it.
That's good.
That's not
It
bad.
tastes good.
Yeah, I tasted it last night. I made it in a blender. Out of the blender, it smelled awful.
Yeah.
But that does...
Betty's still joking.
You good?
Betty's dying. It doesn't have like a spicy vinegary taste,
No.
so it has a spicy other creamy taste to
Okay.
it.
Absolutely.
So, Gavin, reveal the ingredients of your wing for Pastor Chad.
Okay, so the ingredients are queso blanco, medium salsa, some pickled jalapenos, and then an avocado hot sauce. And the weird thing that threw me off was refried beans. But all of this culminates into nacho average hot wing sauce.
He made
Whoa,
his own
he has his
logo.
own label.
I made a label.
That's impressive.
That is.
And I like the name Nacho Average sauce. That's pretty good.
So it's kind of like bean dip in a wing.
Yep.
I think I could have done without the beans, honestly.
But do you taste them? Do you really?
Well, there was something texture-wise that was in there, and then when you mentioned beans, I went, there it is. But Chad, a scale of 1 to 10, what do you give those wings?
I give that wing an 8.
Wow!
Yeah.
That's so much better than I expected.
I would have never
Gavin.
guessed the beans because I couldn't taste it, although now that you said it, it doesn't gross me out or anything.
No.
But I get the creaminess has to come from that queso.
Sure.
So that's a great move.
And you even put that in Chad's like heritage. You know, like you went Mexican. So nicely done.
Yeah,
that was smart.
I love that.
Know your audience. Know your judge. All right, so we got Betty Rocks and mine coming up. Betty Rocks, we're going to hold hers for last. Hers is the biggest risk.
Save the best for last.
Maybe. Yours is the biggest risk for sure, I think, after you told me what's in it. And we'll do mine with the secret ingredient next here. And we'll go ahead and post all of our ingredients. So if you decide to make any of these wings, you can do it yourself for the big game, as it were. So mine and Betty's coming up next. Uplifting Way FM, this is the Wally Show, and we're doing a little wing off today in honor of the Super Bowl. I charged every member of the show to make a signature sauce for wings that would be indicative of them. Gavin did a Southwest, he's from New Mexico, did like a Southwest chili.
It was nacho average chicken wing sauce.
Very good. I made 2 because I wasn't sure what to do with mine. And we just did a round with the wings that I'm not putting into the contest, and everybody had them like off the air. And the general consensus was pretty good, right, Chad?
That was pretty amazing. So this wing
is better than that, which you're saying it is.
I hope so.
I think you're doing pretty well.
Because Pastor Chad is doing our taste test here. And my secret ingredient, because it's something that I love and is near and dear to my heart, is candy and sugar. And so the wing that you tasted off the air was a buffalo sauce, and it was a little bit of brown sugar, garlic and onion, and green cotton candy sugar.
Fascinating.
Yes. Green lime, like green apple, cotton candy, okay? So mixed all together, that was a buffalo candied green apple wing. Now,
Delicious.
the one I am putting in, because Gavin and Betty said they thought this one was better, this is a barbecue bacon green apple candied buffalo wing, okay?
Wow.
Amazing.
So there's a little bit of like a barbecue sauce. There's actual chips of like crisps of bacon in there. There's a little brown sugar, and then there is green apple cotton candy sugar.
Eat it.
So everybody go for the taste right now. We'll see how we do. Chad is all in right there. You have a little bit of the sweet, a little bit of... You taste the apple, don't you? Because I wanted to not just phone it in and not have the apple flavor in there, I'm getting apple on mine.
I am too. And,
Yeah.
and the bacon. Oh, that's really
Yeah.
good together.
Yeah.
The barbecue piece, I mean, it's thick enough that it has stuck on there and you're getting a significant amount, which is good.
Yeah.
But you can still taste the chicken.
Mm-hmm. And I'm surprised the apple's coming through, so not bad.
I love it.
Oh, good. You love it.
But does it beat Gavin's, Chad?
Yeah.
Because you gave Gavin an 8 on the 10.
That's true.
10 Richter scale. What would you give Wally's?
I'm going to have to give this one at least a 9. Like, it's one up from Gavin at least.
I fully agree.
You like it?
I wanted mine to be the best, but
Yeah.
I would
Okay.
eat 10 of those.
This is fantastic. I didn't give it a 10 because I just don't know.
He hasn't
Betty,
had mine yet.
Right.
I want to leave room that Wally could win with a 9, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Betty's concoction, if it tastes good, it will be A, miracle, but B, super impressive. Like,
Yeah.
here's the funny thing. She didn't even taste it herself.
No, I have no idea what it tastes like. We're all going to find out together.
oh no.
Oh, no is right. We'll do that in 10 minutes here. And again, we're going to post all of our recipes, except maybe Betty's, when we're done with this. Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show. There's a saying that you save the best for last. That is not the case here. We saved the last for last because what we're doing is a wing off. Pastor Chad is here. He is going to judge the wings. Right now, Gavin is in second place. I'm in first place. And Betty Rock is the wild card.
Soon to be first place.
Maybe so, yeah. So what I did is I asked everybody on the show, make a signature wing sauce that's reflective of you and your personality. Gavin went kind of southwest.
Yeah, we get nachos every time. That's our appetizer at restaurant. So I made nacho average wing sauce with a bunch of nacho material.
Very good. And I love candy, so I made wings, of course, that have cotton candy, green apple cotton candy sugar in them.
And surprisingly, it got first place.
I know.
It was good.
So
It's
far.
weird, I know. But now that brings us to Southern Belle Betty.
Yes.
What have you concocted for? Oh, wait, don't tell. We got to eat them first.
Oh, yeah.
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Because this is reflective of Betty's Southern roots.
Okay.
So
And everyone be
Everybody take-
polite. Be polite.
Stop it.
Okay,
Take a
so
bite.
I want to make sure Betty's eating it before I take a bite out of
Betty's
mine.
is the most nervous. She did not test her sauce. She didn't taste it. I tasted mine first.
You know, it's not as bad as I was preparing.
That's not an encouraging thing to say, though.
It's not terrible.
Gosh.
Actually,
okay. When it hits the back of the
It's
throat,
not bad.
it goes straight down to your stomach,
Stop
and it makes part of your stomach flip over, spin around, and then want to regurgitate. Whoa.
Actually,
It's not that bad.
I don't
Oh,
know
no.
if I'm going to take another bite.
No, I can't. I just got one in me.
You did?
Oh,
Okay,
What do
here-
you think?
So there was some dripped on my plate, so I actually tried it
Oh,
by
wait, yeah.
itself
Okay.
without the wing.
yeah.
I don't
Ugh.
taste anything. Here's the problem. It doesn't have a lot of flavor to
Ugh.
me.
No!
Oh, what? Okay, well, tell them what you put in there for third place.
Okay. So I use Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce.
Okay. Really?
Okay.
I don't taste
I don't
Then
taste that.
I added a half a cup of Milo's sweet tea.
Oh, because she loves sweet tea.
Yeah.
That's her
Then
thing.
I got myself some pork rinds and I let those marinate inside of the sauce and then added just a half a cup of pickle juice.
Wow, like Chad went back in for another bite.
But that's
It-
the thing. I
It
don't
tastes
taste
like the chicken wings.
I don't taste any of those
No.
material.
I got
See?
tea because I'm super
Yes.
sensitive to tea,
Little bit.
and I hate tea with
No,
everything.
you're just dramatic.
I'm very dramatic, yes, but I don't like tea at all, and so
I don't think it was that bad.
It was bad.
Yeah.
We're gonna post everybody's recipes, but Betty.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
mine deserves a
I
mention.
think your wing has potential, Betty.
Mine has potential.
That's what everyone's always said about you, so it works out. It is your textbook wing. All right,
Yay!
so with that, Pastor Chad, you've had all three wings. You've got Gavin's Southwest Nacho or Average wing. You've got my cotton candy, green apple cotton candy barbecue wing, and Betty's concoction. What is the wing that you are declaring the wing off winner?
I want to give Betty's a grade before I do that.
Oh, please do.
Please.
I'm giving her a 5.
No!
Oh, yes. Yeah.
It's not a failure. It's
Yeah.
not failure.
It's
You
just-
have potential. But
It's
that
just like
does
her,
mean
it's average.
I'm standing too close to her to say that, but let me just say that does mean Wally's. It was my favorite wing.
Yeah! Yes, I'm so happy about this.
I won't argue that.
Thank you, Gavin.
Yeah.
See, Gavin is a
good.
great loser. Betty, just a loser. Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show, and I got a friend that's walking through a real heavy health issue, and to hear how it has affected his prayer life is pretty amazing, and you hate that it takes something big sometimes to refocus us, but it does. And that's why we have this thing called the prayer wall, because it might be the thing that gets you re-engaged with your faith and gets you in that conversation on the daily with God. And it's so important.
Yeah, when you text the word pray to 91979, we'll send you a link to your phone, texting you back saying, here's the link. Click on it. Sorry.
That's what we'll say. Here's the link. Pause.
Click on it. And then when you do, you can see all these requests that people have posted, and you can pray for one. You can also post one.
Yeah, and people do them anonymously, or they'll put their names on it. Greg's like, hey, I need a financial miracle. I've made some mistakes, but I'm committed to correcting them. Please ask God to have mercy on me in this situation. Or Len says, I'm going to confront my dad on his mean-spirited, controlling behavior and conditional love that he has for his wife, his children, and grandchildren. That's a heavy conversation.
Yeah.
And you need prayer twofold. One, for him to have a good heart and receive it, but for you to approach it the right way.
Right. And so what I love about the prayer wall is that these people, they can post these requests, and no matter what time of day, when you go on the prayer wall and you pray for one of them, you click this little box that says, hey, I prayed for you, and they get a notification on their phone or through their email saying, hey, somebody prayed for you. And it could be that woman that you were reading the request from, she might be on her way to have that conversation, and she gets that notification. It maybe gives her the encouragement that she needs to keep going.
Because God's timing is perfect, and you just never know how he's going to use you in this situation as well. So we'd love to have you be a part of it, because it does make a difference in people's lives. It's our prayer wall at wayfm.com, or just text the word pray to 91979. Betty Rock, does the name Lonnie Frisbee mean anything to you?
Not really.
Well, it didn't to me either until I saw the new Erwin Brothers film, Jesus Revolution. It's that one that's faith-based, and it's not the usual faith-based film. Yes, it's a movie that tells the faith story of Pastor Greg Laurie after meeting this hippie preacher named Lonnie Frisbee. And what's cool is it's kind of all true. It was set in the 60s and 70s during the Jesus movement. And I'm telling you, Rock, you would absolutely love the soundtrack. It's really good. Your dad raised you on that stuff.
What did you like about the movie?
I like that the movie's about a guy searching for identity and inclusion and truth. And even though it's set in the 70s, man, it's exactly what people are looking for today. And the answer is Jesus. It's the same then as it is now. And I also really like that it didn't paint a perfect picture of the church either.
Really?
Yeah, it showed men's egos kind of getting in the way of God, and it showed the intolerance of people inside of faith. But it also showed that despite that, if we just get out of the way, revival is possible.
So what did you not like about the movie?
That I wasn't in it. That bothered me a little bit. I got to tell you, the Irwins, they cast Kelsey Grammer, and he's great. They got Jesus from The Chosen. I mean, that's a great get, but they could have had me for a whole lot less. But in the end, man, I really thought it was a great movie.
Well, if you want to check it out and hopefully enjoy it as much as Wally did, it opens in theaters on February 22nd.
Uplifting Way FM. If it's trending, streaming, or starring, Betty Rock's got it. On The Rock Report. Hey, Betty.
With being a star, you constantly have to put up with rumors.
Sorry, I thought I was supposed to interject there.
No.
Okay.
Well, this has nothing to do with you. Let me start over.
Okay.
With being a star,
Amen.
You constantly have to put up with rumors, whether they're true or not. So the best thing you can do is nip it in the bud before it can even begin.
Good idea, because it grows legs, man.
Yes, exactly. That's what Ashton Kutcher did. He and Reese Witherspoon, they both recently starred in a movie together. And while on the red carpet for the premiere, people noticed the two kept a noticeable distance from one another. And it was making the photos from the event look super awkward. Because Ashton Kutcher has his hands in his pockets and he's leaning into the photos with Reese Witherspoon.
But not too close.
But not too close. He doesn't have his arm around her or anything like that.
Interesting.
Later, Kutcher was asked about why he and Witherspoon kept such a noticeable distance between one another, and he kept his hands in his pockets the whole time in the photos together, and this is what he had to say.
if I put my arm around her and was like all friendly with her, the rumor would be that I'm having an affair with her.
Right.
If I stand next to her, I put my hands in my pockets, so there's no chance that like that could be the rumor. The rumor is we don't like each other.
Yeah, you guys hate each other.
Yeah.
Or you're going so hard to prove your innocence that you're guilty. Just another thought.
No. Don't say that.
That is horrible.
That's just the way my brain is wired, unfortunately. And that's the way a lot of people are. And that's sad for them because that is very true.
Yes, it is sad.
I know.
And
I'm sad.
You are helping.
I know. I'm just.
You're making it worse.
Absolutely. I'm part of the problem. I get that. But I do respect it, actually, because a lot of times on sets, especially like romantic comedy type movies and things like that, people do develop feelings as they're acting, and sometimes it leads to affairs and stuff. So I think it's smart of him to be proactive about it and to actually call it out and be like, this is exactly why I'm doing this, because of the people like Wally that are going to start rumors.
Exactly. Wow, I did not see it going this way. I thought we were going to like commend him and sing his praises.
I am commending him.
No, you're not. You like put a Debbie Downer moment in it.
I had a caveat to it, but I am commending him. I think it's
all
amazing.
I remember is you saying
that's my fault. You're right. That's 100% my fault. I'm sorry. Way to go, Ashton Kutcher. Good job. That's going to do it for your Rock Report. Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show. We're going to do a little fill in the blank here, but it's going to be a double fill in the blank. I'm going to give you an example of what I'm looking for, and then you can fill it in however you choose to. So, this is mine. Blank 1. Robot vacuums are for blank 2 is people who don't have furniture. So that's my fill in the blank. Robot vacs are for people who don't have furniture. They're the most frustrating thing in the world. Like, I got my wife one because she had said, oh, I'd like to do that. Half the time, you have to come rescue this thing. He's like, beep, 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 beep. And he, like, panics. And he's stuck under a couch behind a cord from the lamp, you know? Or then he tries to run over the bar stools that we have, and they're kind of like thin metal legs at the bottom, but they're connected. So he tries to, like, go over them like a monster truck, and then he gets hung up, and he's like, beep, 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 beep.
It's like having a puppy.
It really is. I pick him up and go, okay, buddy, let's go over here. So then I put him in another section of the house. Okay, fine, he's going to clean that section. Then all of a sudden, beep, 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 he's back on the dumb chair. I'm like, come on, man. And so, like, to have a robot vac make any sense, you have to have no furniture or anything that it could remotely get hung up on. You have to have one of those, like, ultra clean Euro modern houses, you know?
I agree. Can I take my turn on this?
Please, double fill in the blank. Go.
Okay, so here's the original sentence. Blank is for blank. Okay, mine would be white carpet is for people with no kids or pets.
Absolutely. It seems so trendy and chic, but kids are like, I got SpaghettiOs, you know?
Or a pet is gonna, like, if you have a cat, that's where it'll yak. For sure.
Every time. It could be a little piece, a square of white carpet, an inch by an inch, that you just bought, and you're so happy you got it. You're like, this is really expensive. It's Egyptian, and, it's 3,000 years old, and it's going to be an heirloom. Let me just place that on the floor right here in the middle of all of these beautiful hardwoods. And your cat will look at that and go, huh. Oh, man, my stomach's a little... Everyone else feeling queasy? I feel queasy. I need to run over to that 1 inch square of carpet. Blah, and then just blast it.
Exactly. So that's why I say white carpet is for people with no kids or pets.
Okay, so let's fill in the blanks with you. You've heard Betty Rock's. You've heard mine. Blank is or are for blank. You fill in those two. I'd love to hear yours right now. 855-33-WAY-FM is the number. That's 855-33-WAY-FM. We'll take yours now. So what's yours?
Egg-laying chickens are for flaunting your incredible wealth.
Sadly, that's true. It's like eggs are our new currency. They've gotten so expensive.
Yeah, my 12-year-old daughter has 140 chickens. She actually sells to friends and restaurants and people at church and her dance classes.
That's
and stuff.
crazy.
So.
Yeah, like a year ago, you were just a redneck, but now because of the price of eggs, you are redneck chic and you're old money, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
We had a couple of people chime in on this same sentence. They wanted to fill in the blanks. Like David, he said, a necktie is for people who always need a napkin available. That's very true.
Not a bad thing. Yeah, you just kind of dab it, but dab it on the underside so that when you put it back down, it's all stealth.
Sounds like you've done this before.
I have done this before at a nice place.
Billy said the left lane is for passing.
Yes.
If there is someone behind you and you aren't actively passing someone else, get out of my way.
Yeah, or you got to be driving like faster than everybody else in that lane.
Yes. So the left lane is for passing.
Like if you're driving faster than everybody, fine, stay in that lane. Like if you're like, like I get it. But yeah, if you're not, you need to get out of that.
Yeah, and get off your phone.
I will find sometimes that myself, like I get frustrated by that, but then I have found myself like daydreaming and I'd be in that lane and I'm still doing like 75, but people want to go 80, 85.
Or 90.
And you're like, I really shouldn't have to get over, but I will. But I find I'm in that lane and I forget I'm in that lane. And even I go, what is wrong with you? Get out of this lane. You're an idiot. I get out of the lane. Like I yell at myself for the people behind me.
Oh, that's very kind of you, I think.
Yeah, so that they can have a better day and not have to get stressed. And I put my hand out the window. I'm like, it's me. It's all me. It's my fault. Yes.
And they're like, what are you doing?
Yeah, then
blaming them for what they did.
Right, and I'm trying to just own it myself.
Bless.
So yeah, absolutely right. Well, there you go. That's our double fill in the blank for the day.
I saw that going differently in my mind.
Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show with Mind Blown.
Mind
blown. And this is where I attempt to help you feel more confident in any room that you're in so that you maybe can become the most interesting person in that room with little factoids that you can hold on to. So the scenario is we're all just kind of milling about talking before a party or an event, and we'll show you how it works out here. So Gavin, you and I are talking. Betty Rock kind of on the fringe. We're trying to draw her in because she's the cute girl, and it will help our game go way up if she will walk over. So what would you like to know about?
I'm going to Hawaii for this vacation, family vacation later this year. Nice. I've watched a lot of movies about it, but I could use a little fact about the place that I'm going to visit.
Okay. So yeah, like I travel a lot, so I have a lot of travel facts, so I can give you something on Hawaii easily. I will say this, that if you can have your phone available with any soundtrack, it helps you make you more interesting. Like, excuse me 1 second, scroll. Hawaiian music. Hey, you know it's interesting that you're going to Hawaii. How many Hawaiian islands are there? Do you know that? Like, always ask a question, too, because it gets people in. Even Betty's looking like, wait, what's going on over here with these two interesting world travelers?
No, I'm not.
I feel like there's 4 islands.
4 islands.
Am I really off?
That would be a good guess. You're off by 4. There's 8 Hawaiian islands, okay? And that's not the interesting part. Like right now, Betty would be right to just head on over to the Punch Bowl and walk by us. But when I go...
I'm considering it.
There are 8 Hawaiian islands, but there are 2 of them that you cannot visit. What?
Uh-huh.
Do you know why?
Because they're underwater.
That is a great guess. See, but Betty stopped. She was walking by the 2 nerds and was like, wait a minute, I got this. They're underwater idiots.
I didn't say that.
You are wrong, ma'am.
I didn't say that.
But now you're stuck because you've made eye contact and you've talked to us. You can't leave.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like a hostage situation.
Pretty great, right? And so, yeah, no, that's a really good guess. But no, one of them was a nature reserve now that used to be used as a military test site. And the other one is owned by a private family that does secret experiments on humans. So...
No,
they don't.
They do. They don't tell you that in the brochure when you book like an Airbnb stay there, but that's what's going on.
Now I want to try and get there.
I know. That's what's going on. So avoid that island. That's the one you do not want to go to. Betty Rock, since you're here and now you're fully engaged.
Yeah. Well, actually, I was on my way to the DJ lounge because I wanted to request a song from one of my favorite artists.
Good idea.
So I'm going to throw this artist at you because I think it's a big curveball.
Okay.
Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh, you know what? You strike me as a woman with discernible taste in music, and I can tell that when you ask for a Weird Al fact. Yes. Like, I mean, if I was single, I would propose to you right now because you're that amazing.
Huh.
Weird Al, you know, he's known for his parody songs. What instrument does he play that he's known for?
The accordion.
Exactly. You're right. Do you know where he got his first accordion from?
The librarian.
Very good guess. Once again, you're so smart.
I don't know.
No, actually, he got it from a traveling salesman.
Really?
A traveling salesman gave Weird Al his first accordion, and he used it and recorded his first album in a public bathroom.
No, he did not.
That all checks
It
out.
does check out,
Wow.
especially when you hear things like this.
Don't you tell me you're full, just eat it. Eat it.
Eat it.
Get yourself an egg and beat it.
Most our lives living in an Amish paradise.
And like I will tell you this again, if you can have a couple Weird Al clips at your disposal, just if anyone ever brings him up, it really brings the party. Because now Betty Rock has sauntered in and she's dancing, and there's a couple other chicks over there like, hey, what's going on? Those two guys are fly. They got it going on. Let's mosey on over there. They're playing Weird Al. See, that's how it all works in my head anyway. And that's gonna do it for your mind blown.
Well, the podcast is over, but there's still the aftercast. It's new stuff you didn't hear in the podcast. Be sure to rate us on iTunes, as well as connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Just search Wally Show. And if you'd like to join our Facebook group made exclusively for you potties, the link is in the description of this podcast. Thanks to Colorado Christian University Online and United Faith Mortgage for supporting what we do.